Hello everyone, and welcome to the Capstone Projects Orientation for Al Mawaqib School Al Barsha, the English department. This orientation will be telling you a little bit more about the Capstone project in elementary. So the Capstone project is a way for students to demonstrate their interpretation of their skills and the standard and all the knowledge that they acquired across the semester. They will be asked to complete a project following step-by-step instructions from their teachers. Capstone is based on project-based learning strategy, which is a teaching method in which students learn by actively engaging in real-world and personally meaningful projects. The project is meant to be an interesting and fun learning experience for students and as an occasion for teachers to assess the mastery of how much students have learned across the semester. The Capstone projects will differ from one grade to another, so each student grade level will receive a driving question that they have to answer using a set of resources. So, for example, in grade 3, the driving question would be, how can you write a narrative that can be featured in your travel blog and attract followers who love to travel? Grade 4, how can you write a narrative that gets highlighted in an anthology containing true but fantastical stories that are engaging for readers? And in grade 5, the students have to write a narrative that is award-winning and provides new ideas and perspectives for an existing series. So the students have all been exposed to the driving questions by the teachers and have been given the resources needed to be able to respond to the driving question. A capstone project is slightly different from a regular project in that it is usually done in school and requires lots of collaboration and teacher guidance. It is not a project that they do alone at home. It is a process. It is very student-directed. A lot of real learning and real-life connections take place, and students are given some kind of choice to be able to determine how they learn best. For each grade level, there will be a tile on the Learn Online where students will be given all the resources necessary to be able to complete the capstone, including guidelines, organizers, rubrics, and links that they can access. The tiles look like this, and the course somehow looks like that with some minor differences from one grade level to another. There will be one tile per grade level, and then students will also have a final submission tile to submit their project. So to show you this through Learn Online, it would look like this. So going into a teacher's course, let's say in grade 3, you will find the tiles here. So you have the first week, the second week, and then the capstone guidelines and submissions. So if I were to go into the first week, I will see that the teacher has given the students all the necessary information. The Teams meeting links are also set. Every day, the students will be given different sets of resources in folders. There will be a discussion board or forum where students can leave questions for the teachers. So this is for week 1. Week 2 will be somehow similar, and then the students will have to submit their projects in a tile called Capstone Guidelines and Submissions. And here they have a repeated information about the driving questions so that they don't deviate from the topic. They have the rubrics needed, the resources needed, and then finally 2 submission folders. They will be submitting 2 things at the end of the capstone: the rough draft, which we will talk about shortly, and then the final project submission. So they will need to click in here and then submit their projects. Expectations for students will vary slightly from one grade level to another in elementary, but in general, students have to be very well prepared every day and bring all the required materials and resources. If they are in school, they will be required to bring their graphic organizers with them every day because they fill all the information in there to be able to create the project towards the end of the capstone phase. In grade 5, they will be working more digitally since the students students are at home. Students are required to work as independently as possible. We hope that there will be very little parent involvement because the teachers are trying to provide them with as much support and trying to build those skills that will make our students more independent. Students are encouraged to ask questions whenever they need. They have to follow the steps provided by the teachers. They have to be ready for an interview, which will check for their understanding of their project. And each student will submit one capstone project. It is not a collaborative work, so they cannot work in pairs. The teachers will support by sharing all the information needed, including links, graphic organizers, and explanations at some point. They will provide intervention when needed, when they feel like the students need extra help. They will ensure that students stay on task and enjoy the real-life experience. Students will be required to work in phases. They don't all have to be at the same phase. There are some students who work faster or slower than others. Grade 3 and 4 students will have hard copy graphic organizers because they are coming to school. All work will be required to be completed in class, whether students are online or at home. We hope that they don't have to continue any work on their own or with someone after school hours. Teachers will be asking students interview questions. This might take place at any point during the capstone once the students begin the official work. This will be part of the interview grade, and it will take place only during class time over the period of the capstone. So there will be specific students who will be selected for interviews on specific days, but by the end of the capstone period, all the students would have completed a set of interview questions. Now, there is one important element that is very new this year, but very important. Part of the writing process is the ability for students to revise and edit their work and to recognize mistakes. This is a process that any writer, be it an amateur writer or a professional, goes through. So the students will be required to submit a handwritten rough draft with evidence of revising and editing. Students in grade 3 and 4 who are in school will show this evidence in the classroom. Students who are not in school or are learning online will be required to capture pages from their stories which are written in their notebooks with evidence of corrections. This has all been taught in the class, so students are familiar with this. Here is an example for you. Now, the teachers might be giving the students a schedule to work in. However, students will be working at different paces. The schedule is only a suggestion which will vary from one student to another. So some students who could be in the pre-writing stage, others could be in the drafting stage, but this is the process that the students will have to follow. The capstone project is divided into 2 grades. There's the final product, which is 70% of the grade, and the interview, which is 30% of the grade. The interview is an ongoing formative assessment, which means that it is a way for the teachers to check for the students' understanding, and it will be based on a rubric. Students will not be given the questions. Really, they just must have an understanding of the project and be confident about what they're talking about. It is one of the best parts of the capstone and something that both the students and the teachers enjoy thoroughly. It is very important for the students to speak in complete sentences, to try to use as much formal English as possible, refrain from using slang, and respond confidently to show their understanding. Now, the projects, like we said, will be graded using a rubric. A rubric is a grading method or system that describes the project criteria and descriptors for each criteria. The rubrics for grades 3 to 5 are made up of approximately 5 or 6 criteria, each worth 4 points, 4 being the highest and 1 being the lowest. Students must attempt to score a 4 at all times. They will be graded based on their ideas, organization, word choice, sentence fluency, conventions, and evidence of editing and revising, which was highlighted here. So this is 5 points of their rubric. Here is an example of a rubric. So you would see the criteria listed here and the descriptor for each criteria listed next to it. We advise you and advise all the students to read the 4-point criteria because this is their goal. 1 point means that the students have not met that criteria. Submission format will be as Word. The title of the project will be written in Bookman Old Style, size 16, bold and black, while the rest of the essay will be in size 12. The color will be black. No italics, please. They can add illustrations, however, they have to stick to the word count that is suggested by the teacher. We want to wish all our students all the best in the capstone. This is a wonderful ability to have our students really think independently and creatively and enjoy what they've been learning throughout by applying whatever skills they acquired to real-life context. Please don't stress about the capstone. We want to wish all our students the best of luck. We know that they can do it and they can do it well. Thank you very much.